Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Note Close Show. As always, Scott Carson, excited to be here today. Today, I want to go through another deal or dud case study. All right. And it is Friday as I'm recording this. It's been a very good week. I'm just going to tell you, even with the shortened week that we had, it's been a great week. We've gotten offers in on some tapes. We've got tapes sent to us. Like in literally the last 24 hours, I got in a list of 58 early buyouts, non-performing notes, some DSCR stuff that we're looking at making some bids on. I got in a tape of, was it 57, 58, also reverse mortgages, HECM loans that we can make offers on with 18 of them in Texas. So already got bids out on about $3 million worth of notes this Friday morning. So most people would like, hey, I'm going to take the rest of the day off and go have happy hour day. We'll be doing that tonight. But anyway, I want to go through because, as always, we're talking with coaching students. We got a couple new coaching students, and somebody asked me about this note that's on paper crap. And I was like, well, let me take a look at it. And it looks like the numbers look like it's pretty good. But this is the thing that drives me bonkers about these different listing websites. Now, some have been good about updating things. Like, I'm not going to give you any names, but some are just horrible. All right. Some, their listings actually contradict each other. And this is the thing that aggravates me because there are little tricks that some of these people are doing to say it's a new listing when it's been around for 5 months, and that's aggravating. So let's dive into this. Now, this list I get in, I'm looking at one like, okay, I see a guy's name and I know the guy, ex-coaching student of ours, just hosting events, stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, let me look at it. Oh, what's he got? Oh, he got one in Kentucky. First of all, I don't buy notes in Kentucky for the most part because they're usually too rural. All right. Secondly, you usually have to have some sort of bond, whether you're a personal buyer or an institutional buyer, to hold notes in Kentucky. And he's got those licenses. That's completely fine. He wants to do that, completely fine. But as I always say, don't buy a note you don't want to end up owning. Now, how many of you want to own a note in Kentucky? Raise your hand, you may not know. But here's the thing that violates the first rule. Don't buy a note on something you want to open. Now, first and foremost, when you Google the address, you can't find a picture of the property. The only thing you can see is an aerial view. And on PaperStack, all you see is the aerial view, what looks like a single family home. Okay. But it's in a city. Get this. No, I'm not going to even give it. It is not even a city. It's not in a village. It could be a little village, I guess you could say. It is a small town of a small town, 549 population. So it literally, let me share this with you because I had to pull it to take a look at it for myself. When I typed in how many people live in McDowell, Kentucky, that's where it's at. There is a big 549 as of 2023, and you can see that's going down. Now, in 2014, it was bustling at 952. So this is a city that has lost roughly about half of its population in the last 9 years. Okay, so that's not exciting. If you look at the map, here's what it looks like: 96, 93 Kentucky Road. And if you'll see where the hell is McDowell at? That's the thing. Like, where the heck is McDowell, Kentucky at? I'm like, I have no idea. I've never heard it. And that's the thing. Never buy, no, you don't. So it's somewhere, as you can see, it's way the heck in it. Like, I don't see a big city yet. All right. So if it gives you a bit of an idea, it is out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Out in the middle of nowhere. Now, okay, it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's a rural note. As we squeeze in and look at the aerial, this is all that you get aerial-wise of it. And we can do a layer. We do a layer approach to it and see what pops up. So that's what we see. That's what we see. It's a single-family home in a neighborhood, really not a neighborhood, just off the main highway there, right next to a convenience store, Hunt Brothers Pizza, McDowell Stop. You're right by the bustling McDowell Stop and Start or Stop and Shop. Okay, right next to it. Yeah. Okay. But the thing that's contradictory, and let me go into this, is the listing is okay. Performing first, 37.4 UPB. Okay, on participant balance. Okay, at 9.9% interest, and he wants $50,000 for the list price. And I was like, what? You want over UPB for this? Supposedly, it's a performing note, right? They say performing first. Well, as I'm going down, okay, it's a first position. They say performing, some mortgage, not contract for DD, and then some legal status and foreclosure. What? What does that mean? It's a performing note that's in foreclosure? How does that work? Okay. And this is the most aggravating thing because it says it's only updated like 2 weeks ago, 14 days. 14 days ago it's updated. All right. Well, if it was updated, they should have changed the status from foreclosure to, if it's performing, really to performing. Okay. So it was originated back in June 15th of 2004. So it's been around for over 20 years. Original balance of 62.5. The total payoff now, though, is $66,000. That's the total payoff. Okay. Well, UPB's 37. Total payoff is 66. They didn't pay for a while, right? So let's figure that. Let's just say, okay, they want 50 grand, $50,000 divided by 66,000. They want 78, 76, 75.7. So we'll just round it 76 cents on the dollar for performing note. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay, if it is truly performing, but if it's a non-performing note, that's a horrible price point. It's also so freaking small at only 549 people. You should not buy this note. If it's your first note, it's way too rural. Now, well, you have to keep in mind too, let's figure out the yield because there's basically 99.3 payments remaining. Now, the loan matured. The maturity date was February of 2023. So they didn't pay for a couple years. They're at 9.9% interest. Principal balance is 552. Escrow's impounds 49.66. That means they're probably paying the fourth place insurance on this. The total monthly loan payment is 602. All right. Last payment received was September 9th. So, okay, we can say this is well, if they updated it 14 days ago, they should have updated it, or they paid the October. The next payment due, though, is they're a year behind. August 1st, actually more than that, August 1st of 2024. So this is a matured loan that's way upside down. Technically, not upside down. They don't give us any property values. Okay, this is the thing that frustrates me. What's the value of the property? So let's go back here and see what we can find when we search this. All right, there's not anything that pops up Zillow-wise. So let's just, the Zillow Route 122, single family, it says it's $1,000. Okay. This is the thing that aggravates the shit out of me because if you're not going to give any value, you're not going to give any yield on this. So if you figure, let's just take the P&I amount to keep it simple, 552.71 times 12. That's the 6,600. Divide that by $50,000. That's a 13.2% cash and cash return just based off of this. Now, the thing that you can look at here, which is aggravating, there's no valuation posted, no photos, no files uploaded to this. You can take a look. They do have the payment history, which is, and look at this, added 5 months ago. All right. The payment history was added 5 months ago. Well, this tells you, let's see here. Let me pull that up there because it downloads in a spreadsheet here. Let me open it up. Let me share my screen so you guys can see it. All right. So here's the payment history. And this thing is kind of like reading Latin sometimes. Okay. So you see, they don't have this is as of May of this year. So they haven't uploaded the June, July, August, September payments to it. Okay. Or October. But as you can see, I think this is a BK loan. This is a bankruptcy loan. They probably filed this back in September or October, or I'm sorry, August of like 2023, because there's nothing really, they weren't really making any payments prior to that. And the servicing on this only goes back to 2022. So I'm assuming that's when this guy bought the note. But as a non-performing, and maybe it's part of a pool. I would hope he wouldn't buy it, but he's been known to buy some low balance notes before when he was a coaching student of mine. And I said, don't buy it. And then we tried to owner finance it, and it didn't work out very well. So, but it looks like this is a BK loan. Because how do I tell that? Because when you look at the reference numbers, if it gives a BK at the very end of their loan numbers, that's usually a sign it's a BK. All right. So they've made payments, but you can see this payment made on May 7th of this year. It went to April 1st of 2024. So they're still a year behind approximately. Okay. So if it was a foreclosure, I could understand because it looks like they've made payments for the last, let's see here, since November of 2023, roughly, give or take a little bit. Well, if they've made payments for almost 2 years now, it shouldn't be a foreclosure. It should be listed as a BK loan. All right. But that's not what it is. It's It's false advertising on the ad with no values. And so this is the thing that aggravates me. Yes, it could be a 13% or greater yield to you. You don't know what that 50,000 offer price is off of the value of the property. You don't know if it's upside down based on the value versus the legal balance and stuff like that. And it's also the number one overriding factor is this isn't such a small town. Trying to sell this at 75 cents a dollar might seem like a discounted deal. But if you really want to sell this and it's taken you 5 months to sell this thing because the stuff was uploaded 5 months ago, drop your price. Okay? Give it to somebody to get rid of it. It's performing. Yeah, give it to somebody that's going to be incentivized to buy this in a small ass town. Yes, they still got 10 years of payments or 100 payments left. Yeah, it could be decent yield and stuff like that. When run an amortization table to figure it out, but this is a BK plan. So there's maybe 3 years and 3.5 years of a BK Chapter 13 payment plan left to go on. But come on, get your story right. Tell a little bit about the story. Give a valuation. It costs $80, $100 to pull a BPO to send somebody out to take a look at. Maybe, well, I take that back. On a rural asset like that, it might cost $200 to send somebody out to do that, or call a local real estate agent there in McDowell if there is one, and say what's the value of the property. Yep. If you want to sell this and you want to make $50,000, and let's say the UPB is 37,000, and you're going to sell it for that's 12 grand, 13 grand over the UPB. Spend a little money. I understand you're paying for servicing. You're probably paying for the forced place insurance, but that's being reimbursed back to you if it is part of that escrow impounds aspect of things. So I would highly not bid on this. Don't bid on this unless you live in Kentucky and you're fine buying a little small note way the heck out in the boondocks. Okay. Now, if he dropped it to 25, would I buy it? No, I still won't buy it. It's too small. I don't violate my number one rule. Don't buy a note on a property you don't want to end up owning. I don't want to end up owning a property we got in the middle of Kentucky. Now, are they likely to fall through? They file bankruptcy. They're making payments for you. Good for that borrower. I still don't want to own it. Still don't want to own it. And that's the number one thing. Could this be a decent yield at 13? Okay, yeah, 13. But that's not desirable. You can get 13% yields or 16% yields or greater looking at other stuff from other sellers. And so this, for me, is not a deal. It is a dud. And keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Don't fall victim to somebody selling you a note that you shouldn't be buying. I mean, I'm not surprised. I've seen this guy who brought on a business partner who wanted to buy a note, and he sold her a non-performing note in New York State. That tells you all you need to know. That's not a friend. That doesn't make sense to do. If you're going to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to sell you your first note, I'm going to give you, guess what, New York State to buy a note in. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. So don't fall prey to these types of deals. Yes, it could be good, but when you have a lot of information missing or stuff's not updated, that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. So don't buy shit like this. There's better deals to go out there. We're seeing stuff coming in. If you will just market and get out and talk to asset managers and rely on LinkedIn or email blasts or just go to mortgage banking associations or looking at who's speaking and stuff, you will find deals. You just got to get outside and not be lazy enough. Just like, let me log into one website that only has like 100 to 200 notes any given time. So go out, take some action, everybody. Avoid the duds. Look for real deals that make real sense and real numbers that aren't going to be a pain in the ass at some point. So go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you at the top. Bye. Hey, real estate investors, this is Scott Carson. I'm known across the country as a note guy. For the past 20 years, I've been buying distressed assets, primarily non-performing notes on residential and commercial properties. And if you've ever wanted to learn how to dive in to start buying non-performing notes from banks, hedge funds, or other investors like yourself, then there's no greater place than to get the nuts and bolts, the A to Z, the 1 through 99 place to get started. It is our virtual note buying workshop. We've been teaching this class since 2010 on how to find, fund, flip non-performing notes, how to get banks to call you with deals that you can cherry pick. And no, you don't need millions. No, you don't need a lot of experience to start looking at non-performing notes. We get the lists of notes from banks, hedge funds on a regular basis, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but hundreds of deals that we can evaluate and cherry pick. Whether we're looking for performing notes or non-performing notes that we can get reperforming, or non-performing notes you can foreclose and take back, whatever your niche or whatever you would like to focus on, we can help make it happen at the virtual note buying workshop. It's a 3-day class. Our next one is April 18th to the 20th. It's actually online live via Zoom. You get signed up by going to notebuyingfordummies.com. That's notebuyingfordummies.com. Day one is all about how to find these assets. How do you find asset managers? How do you find lists of people to reach out to that you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on postcards or letters that you waste money on? We don't do that. Day two is all about raising capital and marketing and how to create a business that feeds itself, that you can do part-time, 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week, depending on what your focus is. We'll show you a game plan to achieve deal flow coming in on autopilot versus you having to send a ton of money. And also, we'll show you how to raise capital like nobody else does. And then day three is all about the flip. How do we structure deals? How do we evaluate a tape to find the deals from the duds? All right. We'll show you what vendors to use. We'll give you a 200+ page manual, contracts, sample forms, all the stuff that you need to be a lean, mean note buying machine when you get wrapped up. Now, yes, this is live April 18th through the 20th online via Zoom. Get signed up today. We'll send you the replays of the previous online workshop so you can start learning, start evaluating material, and get rock and rolling. And if for some reason you don't like our class, we have a 100% money back guarantee involved with it. If at the end of the first day you don't like what we talk about, you don't think it's impactful, just let me know. We'll refund back your tuition, no questions asked. We don't want your money. We want you to become a note buyer. We want you to become a lien lord. All right. Like I said, if you're tired of dealing with toilets, tenants, and trash outs, you don't want to deal with renters, then becoming a note investor is the path for you. Everybody evolves into a note investor at some point, but there are plenty of opportunities out there. There are millions of non-performing notes that you can cherry pick. No, it's not all junk. It can be small value all the way up to $1 million homes or $1 million apartments for you. So much opportunity is taking place right now in the chaotic market that we see. And who's going to come out on top? Note investors will. So take the time, get signed up today, April 18th to 20th. Go to notebuyingfordummies.com or go to our website, weclosenotes.com, and sign up for the virtual workshop there. As always, get signed up today. We run discounts all the time. The cost of tuition is you plus your partner or spouse. So get signed up today at notebuyingfordummies.com, and we'll see you at the top.